The film begins with a young man named June, a social worker. He has a large following on Instagram, but he never reveals his face. He works odd jobs to help people and now needs a full-time job. Similarly, his friend, Sun, also needs a full-time job and wants to become a detective. One night, they meet a young woman in their building who aspires to be an actress. She greets them warmly and takes their numbers. Shortly after, the woman receives a message from an account named Gail, belonging to Arish. He asks her about her life's purpose, and she begins to respond. Then, she receives a strange message from the account, which reads, "All this work is just an illusion." Their conversation continues, and we see that this same woman now messages June at night, but he neither opens nor replies. The next day begins, and June meets a psychologist named Mississippi Park. Like June, she also helps people by offering free sessions. He chats with Mississippi Park for a while, then takes a picture of Miss Park's stroller and posts it on his Instagram, so anyone who needs free help can come. Later that night, when Sang arrives to meet June, he notices someone with a camera near their building. It's clear he was secretly taking pictures of someone. But as soon as Sang arrives, he leaves. Sang and June meet, and June reveals that he received a message from his neighbor the night before. She wanted to meet him and help him, but he didn't reply. Sang tells him, "You should have." They had just come out from their conversation when they learned the shocking news: the girl had committed suicide. June is the most distressed to learn this, as he now believes his neighbor's death was his fault. Had he gone to help, she might still be alive. After the police investigation, he returns to his neighbor's house, enters her room, and begins checking her accounts. He discovers that the last time his neighbor spoke with her, he received messages from an account called Anisha's Girl. Reading these messages, he clearly believes these messages must have led to her suicide. He also tells Sun that she took her own life after receiving messages from this account. These people now message his account, asking, "What did you do to our neighbor?" But the reply is, "I did nothing. This was done by the goddess of death, from whom no one can escape." Such statements on this account have turned their suspicions into reality. They even go and report this account to a detective. But the detective replies, "Your neighbor committed suicide. All the post-mortem reports have come in, and no one is responsible." He couldn't understand what June and Sang were saying. Therefore, June and Sang decided that they would personally seek justice for the girl, and that this would be the final answer to her request for help. To learn more about Arasha's Gate, they consult a hacker who attempts to obtain the account's address, but fails because whoever was running it used a VPA. However, they do discover that anyone Arash messages dies the next day or the day after. This suggests that he was a psychotic serial killer who was digitally killing people without leaving any evidence. Meanwhile, we see a man secretly taking pictures of them from the building opposite. This was the same man who had also encountered Sang that day. At this point, June and Sang were extremely confused. The next day, they go to the same psychologist they met earlier. They question Ms. Park about whether someone can, through mere words, bring another person to a point where they take their own life. Ms. Park says, yes, someone with a good grasp of psychology can do that, and that we should stay away from such people. They become frightened and go to an Uber friend. They tell him the whole story, explaining that anyone who receives messages like this from Arash Gill's account ends up taking their own lives. He says, please broadcast this so that as many lives as possible can be saved. Just as they were leaving after all this, they received a message from Nuri, the hacker, who was now calling him to her office, explains that he too had received a message from Arasha's girlfriend. Somehow, Rush Gale had figured out that they were trying to find out about him, and Rush Gale had asked him, what's your purpose in life? After all this, Nuri explains, I clearly know someone is watching us right now. Nuri's words make them even more worried, both for themselves and for Nuri, who was a girl. When they go outside, they notice that a boy on top of the building opposite is still taking pictures of them. They've seen this boy several times, and once even tried to catch him red-handed, but he slipped away. They quickly call Nuri and tell her that the boy is on top of her building. Nuri quickly goes to the top and catches him. They then capture him and bring him home. After slapping him a couple of times, the boy spills the beans, saying, "Everything I'm doing is for Arasha's sake. I don't know him personally, but one day I received a message from him. She knows things about me that I've kept hidden from myself, and because of all this, she's blackmailing me into doing things." Until now, they had felt sorry for him, but the next thing he said enraged Sang and June so much that they even started beating him. He says, "Actually, it's my hobby, too." That was it. When they try to assault him, Nuri stops them. After learning this man's story, they realize that the man they arrested wasn't as simple as they thought. He was a serious gamer. Before they could investigate further, they receive a call from a detective the next morning. There was good news for all of them. The detective explains that several people, besides you, had complained about Arish Gill. We immediately began an investigation, and when we found his address, we went to his house to arrest him. But before we could apprehend him, we found he had already committed suicide. Hearing this, June breathes a sigh of relief, and the detective tells her, "There's no need to worry anymore. Just shut up this detective inside you and go find some work." He tells his friends, Nisang and Nuri, the same thing that night. But Nuri says, "I don't believe this. I don't believe such a powerful killer would take his own life so easily." Nuri's thoughts turn out to be correct. That night, while Nuri is sleeping, she receives another message from Arish Gill's account, and we are shown the now arrested Gill standing by the sea. While we weren't shown his face at this point, it was certainly revealed that he was alive. Meanwhile, Jung's Uber friend calls Jung and informs him that the arrested Gill has now been exposed and has decided to make a massive broadcast that thousands of children will be attending. Hearing this, June and Sang knew that Alshrai Gill was now targeting thousands of children at once. They immediately wanted to inform Nuri about this, as she was the only one who could stop this by hacking. But as soon as Sang calls her, Nuri tells him in a strange voice, "I don't want to work on this anymore." There was a strange pain in her voice, which Sang sensed. Sang sensed something was wrong, so he immediately took June to the scene and found that Nuri had attempted suicide. They arrived just in time, allowing them to call an ambulance. But her life was still in danger. They then go to their Uber friend and, using his YouTube platform, broadcast another broadcast, challenging Rush Ki Gill live. This time, the challenger was Sang, and the response Rush Ki Gill gave to his challenge surprised Sang. He knew many things about Sang that Sang hadn't told anyone before, and seeing this, Sang was shocked and unable to do anything. Rush Ki Gill now had Sun completely under his control. In a way, he had hypnotized him. June, who was also watching the live broadcast, saw Sang's conversation with Rush Ki Gill and immediately rushed to Sang's side. He saw Sang in a very bad state and about to take his own life. However, he revived him and saved him from Rush Ki Gill. He frees her from the hypnotism and saves her life. He then visits Nuri. Nuri tells him, "When I was talking to Alash Gill, I felt as if someone had taken control of my life. He had so negatively affected my thinking that I lost all meaning in my life, and I was forced to commit suicide." Even today, Nuri has been unable to mentally process all this and no longer wants to dwell on it, but she wants to help June and save everyone else's lives. She gives him an envelope and tells him, "This envelope will help you reach Rishki." As he takes it home, he realizes that many people are after him. He realizes that these are Alash Gill's men who want to kill him. As he flees, detectives appear before him. He tells Detective Ko everything about how many people are chasing him to catch him and harm him. But after listening to him, Detective Ko himself pulls a gun from his pocket and holds him at gunpoint. He then kidnaps him and brings him to a strange location. It is revealed that Detective Ko had actually fallen victim to Alicia's blackmail and, when he spread the news that Alicia's death had been reported, he was simply trying to convince June to give up his detective work against Alicia's Gale. But when June refused to stop his interrogation and search, he was forced to take this step. Alicia's Gale also knew many things about Detective Ko that could have ruined his career. That is why he was forced to help Alicia. It turns out that even Detective Ko did not know who Alicia's Gale was until now. But in reality, June had discovered who Alicia's real identity. The envelope Nuri gave her contained Rashi Gill's real identity, and it was none other than Miss Back, who had always been meeting June as a savior. Before June could ask her any questions, Miss Back began speaking, saying, "Remember, 3 years ago, you gave bad feedback about a restaurant? You didn't like the food there. And do you know what happened as a result? Thousands of people followed you. Because of you, everyone criticized that hotel, and an investigation immediately began. It turned out that the raw food in that restaurant was bad, and my dad was the CEO of the company that supplied that raw food. Then people made up a lot of negative stories about that company. That company closed down, and my dad committed suicide, and all of that was solely because of you." She says, "The day my dad died, I decided I would take revenge on you. But I didn't want to kill you. I wanted you to die in agony. That's why I created an environment around you so that you couldn't feel anything good. All you looked around was news of death. And for this, I created an account named Rashi Gill. For the sake of the people around you, I started talking to your friends through that account. There, I played music that hypnotized your friends and completely influenced my conversations. And then I planted so many negative thoughts in their minds that they were forced to die. And just to get revenge on one person, that psycho killed so many people." Now June questions her, "How many innocent people did you kill to get revenge on me? Do you think you got justice by doing all this?" She says, "I don't know, but look, you turned me from a human being into a monster, and I took so many innocent lives." Hearing this, June bows his head and then apologizes to her. He says, "I had no idea your dad would take such a drastic step because of one small step I took. He would take his own life. If I had known, I would never have done it. Whatever I did it for everyone's well-being. I thought the company would fix its affairs and everything would be fine. But everything turned out the opposite." June tells him, "Whatever's done is done. You kill me and end this whole thing." But Miss Batch says, "Not yet." She messages someone there and tells June that your friend Sang's life is also in danger. Elsewhere, it's shown that many people arrive to kill Sang. They beat him up and injure him. But before they can kill her, Nuri arrives and saves her life. It's here that we learn that she's not only a hacker but also a very capable fighter. Meanwhile, Mississippi Park, the one arrested, is about to broadcast again, still planning to kill many people. June arrives and stops her, telling her not to do it. But she doesn't stop. June then says, "You can continue doing whatever you want. But now no one will join your broadcast because I had a spy cam installed in my shirt button. Everything you said has been streamed live to everyone. Your true identity has now been revealed." Realizing her game is over, she attempts to take her own life, jumping from where she was standing. It turns out June had made all the arrangements, and the police were already there, who quickly spread a safety mattress and saved her life, and she is then arrested. Finally, June, along with Sang and Nuri, survived. They had saved thousands of lives. They had become saviors and heroes all at the same time. But June didn't want to accept this false reputation. He revealed the truth on his account: "The loss of so many lives was due to my actions. I exposed a hotel, which led to Miss Back's father committing suicide, and Ms. Pack killed many innocent people to avenge that." Even after learning the truth, June's followers' love for him remained undiminished. June remains a hero to his followers, helping them all. The movie ends with them moving on in life.